Hi. Good morning, everybody. We'll call the meeting to order. And we have a special young man to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. You're good. It's good. Perfect.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't, good job. Okay, now to bow your head for a holy prayer. Father, we come to you today. Lord, we have business in front of us. God, and everything is your business. So Father, guide our hands, our minds, our hearts, Lord. Help us make decisions that are worthy of who you are and worthy of who you want us to be. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, thanks a lot. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. On our agenda here, first item is county personnel or public comment. Is there anybody that'd like to speak? Yes, sir. So we will follow our agenda. We have 8:30, we have solid waste and go on there. So we're gonna have a little time here. So the first thing we'll do is we'll look at item number 1, and that's the minutes from the 28th of July. Wasn't that long ago? Are there any additions or corrections or comments about the minutes as presented? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve the 7/28 of 2025 minutes.
Is there a second?
I was pretty sleepy when I read them last night, so I'll let you second.
Okay, I'll second them. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. Next is the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, the financial test, which was great news, I think. So good for Brown County. We passed the test. If you read the letter, it says they almost debt-free status. Really made this a home run. So credit to past commissions and past management for not sinking the county in a quagmire of debt. And that enabled us to really sort of duck this one. And so we pass it, and I guess we go again next year, but it's going to be a yearly thing. But for now, that we dodged that one. So wonderful. And whoever helped with that, Nikki, I'm sure you were involved. Thanks for doing that. So to accept that. Okay. Okay, so you gentlemen have looked at this. Did you look at the number?
Yeah.
And are you prepared to accept it so I can sign it? Is there a motion to do that, ma'am?
I move we approve the chief financial officer's letter and test from the local government for the landfill.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. That's done. Next is the Kansas Development Finance Authority, another ag revenue bond. This one for Levi and Jody Grimm, beginning farmers. So this is another thing if we approve of it, just make a motion to approve and roll on. Do you have any questions or comment on this?
What do you say?
There you go. So the motion is similar to the one we did a month ago, that we're not obligated to anything, but we have no objections to this. So is there a motion that would state we don't have any objections to this bond? I'll move that the county commission doesn't have any objections to this KDFA bond. Looks like project 001174. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, that's good. We are smoking through this. Item number 4 is accounts payable. There's a lot in here. Are there any questions, comments on this?
So, yeah, I've got a question.
We
know
know they're with you.
So on page one, it was fuel cloud supplies. And then that was like commissioners and a janitor, and then later on there on like page 7, there was another.
Okay, but it's paid with the same credit card. The invoice detail will show up on all of them, that the bill is split in each department.
So is that an extra expense that fuel cloud has, or? First one is, yeah. But pretty much right about.
No, it looks like with fuel cloud now. One something, right? The 1.5 extra fuel cloud and these supplies are probably additional.
So the part was 122 for what the fuel cloud is, and okay, so it wasn't an additional charge for fuel cloud.
No. One thing.
Okay.
Any more questions? Good. No, that's it. I had one, and it's actually on page 1 too with Douglas County. And then we had one for Jackson County too with, detention. I mean, is that,
That's the juvenile.
okay. That seemed like a big number. All right, so that's not typical. I don't remember seeing numbers like that. Yeah, okay,
It depends on when they have juveniles in custody.
okay.
They house them down there, of course.
That's just,
They can't have their. They can't
Are
have.
those the same ones who've been on there before, or these new people?
I can't answer that. I don't know if it'd be new or the same ones. I can't answer.
It just kind of shows you how important it is to keep our use in mind.
certainly. So Brown County does not, we cannot house juvenile.
No, it has to be a special place.
That makes sense. All right. That was the only question I had. So then if there's no other questions or comments? Are you good, Rich?
I'm good.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the accounts payable for July 31st?
But we approved the accounts payable for 7/31/2025.
Is there a second?
So I can,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 I,
All right, motion carried. Oh, man. They're really making good time. You caused all this with that excellent pledge of allegiance. You need to come back. You know that? All right. Okay, is there any other thing to come before the board here while we got just a little time? Or 8:30?
They said that. Really, it's fine.
Okay, that's for the Agency on Aging. Okay, good.
Your. Friday. One went out. If they were on there,
Wonderful.
I told them, no, it's something one of them looks like they're having part of this job will have to be built. What do they do? Prepare stuff to.
That's wonderful. That's is it CCR or C? R? Okay, that's fine. Should be an easy one. So you did get a call back. That's great, because I didn't, so. No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So the warranty was out in June, the 5-year workmanship warranty. There's still a 20-year material, I believe, if I read that document right.
So 20 or 25.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. We come up and fix that because we're outside the warranty period, so that actually all ended up working out great. Okay. Hi, Dawn.
Good one.
I have something she wants you to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Come on in. Sorry. Yeah.
Good morning. You have a rough plan. That's yours. The county actually owns all of this. There's been a gentleman that has been mowing it, but lives there, and just been mowing it for free, but he's been activated and will be leaving for a year.
So I think he's also been putting crops in there too. So.
Is that what it is? He puts crops back?
I think so.
Maybe.
So. Doug had called before his trip and asked if we'd be willing to pay someone to mow it. Well, I was speaking with the custodian. And he said he's not opposed to hauling a trailer up in the lumber and he gave me a number. Because I believe all that they really mow is this and this. Because Doug said, or Dave said, there's kind of a drop off right here, a little bit, or a hill.
But if he doesn't do anything with this, you might need to end up mowing all this too. Or if somebody else.
I didn't know we had any. So they putting crops, or they're taking hay off of that?
Well, it sounded like that one time they had alfalfa on it, and I think this year they had beans on it.
You gotta find out, I mean, it's not right that somebody farming it.
Probably trading the farming for mowing.
The
Beans
first
are,
after the 6 years, so.
Yeah,
I never knew that he
beans are,
traded anything up there, so I'd be curious to know what.
Well, if he's gonna be gone, he's
not darn.
not
And
gonna do
there's
anything.
somebody else that.
so he got active duty, is that what you're saying?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. All
The
right.
way it sounded from Doug.
Did the man who was here, did he have any suggestion?
I didn't speak with him. Dean Lee.
He called one time and I tried to call him back, but he never called back
Do
again.
you have a
So.
number?
I do not, but I can try to. find-
Maybe we ought to call and ask him, he may have, if he does hay on it and was mowing it. Maybe he's got somebody in mind, but you said it's beans,
I think so.
okay. Field trip is what it sounds like to me.
So it looked like this part didn't grow much, so. he
Dave
didn't-
drove up there.
Okay,
I'll look at it. I didn't walk over too much, but
is this, when's he leave?
I don't know that.
Okay.
Doug didn't know for sure.
Can we maybe make some, you can get a number, if we could make a phone call, I'd like to drive up and take a look at it, see what it is, so I know what we're talking about, and you said the custodian would mow it, so
Mhm.
I just like to put my eyes on it. Did you need anything with it today, or is this just advisory?
Advisory and to see if it was okay and Dave know it.
Okay.
As he said it, when he drove up there, he said, "Oh, it's getting kind of tall."
Oh, it is. Okay, well, I think it'd be fine if you not promote it. What do you think? Yeah, by consensus, that'd be fine.
and
I still like to look at it, and maybe talk to the gentleman, see if he's been doing it a long time.
It-
for the president,
Huh?
for the president, maybe.
It looked like when I was up at the appraiser's office that maybe he owned quite a bit around it.
Okay. Okay.
So it looked like he owned quite a few parcels.
I don't think he owns any.
I would think
I don't know. It's like just two sections in the block.
That's what's fun about all this GIS map. We just go right to, it. We can tell if we need to, but yeah, I want to measure that block pile anyway. Is this a current picture? No, it
that's just the one that was
was
on
on
Google
Google. Yeah,
Maps.
okay,
Google Earth, I should say.
okay. Cool.
But maybe they did haul some out of there this year,
Well, I'm sure they did.
toward the end of it.
I'm sure they did them like oil.
Shit, well, no. Reed, did you say Reed or Reese?
Reed.
Reed, okay, Daniel Reed. All right. Fun, okay. So will you tell, custodian, he can go up there and mow? Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Anything else? Okay.
They, east to the north.
Okay, all right. Well, you never know what's coming, so that's fine. Mhm. Okay, anything else? Got 5 minutes? So we have to stick to the timeline. It may seem a little awkward, but it says 8:30 on the agenda. That's when we start. Well, I just sometimes silence wonder what's going on, and that's what's going on, so.
I think we will have to guess, after about, in our fee renewal.
Okay.
We, right, our base that will, and it's that, if they.
Okay. Okay, well, that's some good filler. I looked at this sheet that she gave us last week. And I just ran the calculator, kind of looked around at different counties, made a few phone calls. And I mean, in pencil, this is what I think. We do need to talk to the treasurer's office to see if their software will accommodate this. Does that, when I talked to the appraiser, Aumentum is the software they use. And he didn't know if we went with like a graduating scale, if the software is capable. That was a question.
I think it is.
Okay. And then he mentioned too that once really the NRP, once we decide what we're going to do and his office is notified and they make the inspection to make sure it qualified, then essentially they're sort of done with their part of that. And then it bounces over to the treasurer's office because they take, the billing goes through there. Is that right? Am I explaining that correctly?
I said, no.
Well, yeah, okay.
It's. Check, right.
So it goes from the appraiser's office to your office. Well, then he probably told me that and I just didn't explain it.
Well, you just, yeah, click on that.
Okay, all right, so you're involved with that also. All right, but it's a software thing too, but it's additional record keeping.
You have to report this together.
Okay. Okay. All right, well,
Well, yeah, but.
okay, okay.
My question is, so like we're giving rebates now, but the program ends, those rebates continue till that time,
The end of
their term. Okay.
You study it, what'd you think?
I didn't say that.
Did you have any comment on it?
Well, I know I'd like to go to the 10-year, but I didn't look at which one or
Okay.
I didn't think I'd look at it yet.
Well, in my opinion, this is, it's a pretty good way for the county to stimulate economic activity. If someone's on the fence about building a new or adding on, or, expanding, this might push it over the edge and the county won't collect any money or they give up their right to collect property tax on the improvement. But long term, I think it makes sense if you can get somebody to make the improvement. Even if we don't collect right away, the county will, eventually, and it's less about a funding source for the county than it is about economic development for industry. And I mean, on paper, it sounds like it could work. But to your comment, low taxes also just by themselves stimulate economic development. So that's real too. I don't know how they're,
So I can see more on, well, like if we're supposed to help the poor neighborhoods increase, maybe all the And the commercial stuff pays a lot more taxes than the houses. I mean, you only pay, but like 11.5% of your appraised value of a house, which says,
Right.
or, which is now says. Anyway, but the businesses, they pay like 30, they 5 or 30.
It's, yeah, they're pulling a lot of weight. Okay, it's, we'll come back to that. It's 8:30. And we have Mr. Don Pound on the agenda.
Good point.
Hi there.
This morning, it's, about the, trying to move the contract from Nick Smith to Gary Con.
Mhm.
You know, I recommend that be moved.
Okay. And the contract, if I read it right, is essentially the same. We're just gonna sign the page that assigns it from Nick to Gary Kime Trucking.
Correct.
Nothing else has changed, right?
Nothing has changed.
Okay.
And, I know you called and talked to me. Nick Smith is very happy working with the county. There's nothing that we did that made him seek other employment.
Sure.
So I just wanted to, and he is available by phone this morning if you guys want to talk to him.
I spoke with him over the phone 2 days ago, maybe asked him that very same question, just, did something happen? He said, absolutely not. He got an opportunity presented itself that he just couldn't turn down. So that's what he's doing. So, fair enough.
I'm all for him bettering his family.
Sure,
That's the number one.
sure.
And Gary Kine has been a backup driver for Nick, and he's done an excellent job. Fully behind him.
Okay, so if I read this contract right. This number 9, this agreement shall not be assigned to any third-party operator without the written consent of local parties. So when Nick Smith and Sons was our contractor, Gary Kime Trucking was our fill-in. So now that Gary Kime Trucking is going to be the contractor, will we have a fill-in?
Okay, Gary has, you're Gary, right? Yes. Okay, I assumed that. Okay,
You can
Gary
come up
has
if you
several
like.
trucks, so he can back himself up real well. Nice to meet you face to face.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we have several trucks, covering your guys' load, should not be a problem.
Okay, so you'll be your own backup. All right.
And we have Pam as a backup too. We can always call them.
So I meet Ham trucks on the road occasionally, and you don't know they're coming. Is that right?
What's that?
Do you know when the ham truck's coming? Do they call and let you know, or do they
We
just?
call and ask for a truck and they will say, we'll put you on the list.
Okay,
So that just means maybe we'll get one, maybe we won't.
so you have a standing order basically every day. Is that right?
No, we call them. If
You don't-
we need one,
Okay.
because there's some days we don't need them.
There's some days you don't need. All right, all right. So my question was I asked to throw a wrench in it if if a truck's coming, but if you know they're coming, they're planned, then we can come.
More than often not, typically, if, it goes to Hams, they'll ask us if we want to pick it anyways.
Okay, they hold.
Since we're close, they usually ask us if we want to pick it anyway, so it
Oh,
should probably not, it should not. be.
okay, so it's fine. I just, like I said, I meet those trash trucks on the road. I never paid attention before, but now I know what they're doing. It's. Okay,
I don't expect any.
okay.
I don't either.
Your dad is John, right?
My dad is
I've
John,
been talking with your dad every time he's been called.
you got the brains, I got the looks.
Now that's recorded. I want you to know.
Oh, he knows that. He's
Okay.
here.
I went to school with dad.
Yeah, he says that's.
Okay, so this contract, you reviewed it.
Yes, the only question I had is, I know that there is a fuel surcharge, on some of this stuff, and it wasn't mentioned in there. You guys have a fuel surcharge on it? Okay, that's fine. I'm willing to accept the contract as is. Next year, when we review this, a stipulation for a fuel surcharge, but probably preferable. A lot of volatility with diesel, it could shoot up to $5 overnight.
That's a just in case, and you set some parameters, like some.
Yes.
Yes.
The only thing I want to clarify is I do want to be sure the contract is in the correct name. The authority for the trucking company is GL Kine LLC, not Gary.
Yes.
Gary can sign it, that's fine, it's not a problem. For insurance purposes, I need it to be in the correct company name.
So right there, we need GL Con LLC. Is that right?
This will work and I'll just assign it to you. Okay, that should work. They're gonna have you sign my name there.
Okay,
And, if you want, can I put a TL kind of LLC at the end of it? Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you can do that.
We'll do it anyway, we want it to.
yeah, I really,
For insurance purposes, they could really finicky on it.
yeah,
We want to do it right, so no problem at
I
all.
just don't wanna have to explain why it's in two different languages.
I understand.
And I'm Joanne, I'm John's wife. I do all the payroll, all the bookings. Gary does the dispatching and they send me the paperwork, so.
Okay, so
I
we
would
want it right,
it's all done.
want it right. I imagine the paperwork for a trucking business is a lot of work.
You know, it really wasn't
So,
until he joined. And he wants to grow, which is a wonderful thing, so.
He got the looks, but
That's right, he got the book.
he causes a lot of problems.
He doesn't.
so I always tell people, we can get the paperwork right, otherwise I can send it better.
Well, if there's no other questions or comments, then provided we change the name to the correct GL sign LLC. Is there a motion to accept them?
That's the only place that was in there was,
I think it, yeah, under.
Yeah, that's the
signing.
spot I can see, it's right there where it's.
well, no, it's in section 9 too,
Oh,
In the assignment?
the assignment there, right above where his name and where the names are.
And I think for the record, we need to say that we talked to Nick
Pursue
Smith, that
section
he's
9,
agreed
that's
to assign this contract.
You see
We
it
need to
there?
have that record.
Sure, he needs to sign it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, right. So that's that'll be in the record then that Nick Smith is agreeable. Smith and Sons Trucking is agreeable to this transfer, of this assignment of the contract. All right.
That's what we're looking to see if his name appeared anywhere else. Other than-
Yeah, so we'll wait till we get it in front of us. We'll review it and then we'll go ahead and make the motion.
Yes, it's in the paragraph with above too. With the bold is that has his name there. I'm looking down right where Lucas signs there, that those two paragraphs there both have your name in them.
What else do you haul?
I sub for J6, so I run a lot of dog food.
Okay.
Then we also have end dumps. We run a lot of aggregate for especially Walnut Township, Knoll Township.
So is that Fairview Express? Is that-
Well, yeah, I sub underneath the Fairview
Yes,
Express.
so do you have a big black Peterbilt?
No, they're too fancy for me. I got a little loop here built, so that when I get tired and roll it over, it's not as big a deal, so.
Don't say that.
And then, yeah, like I said, we've got a couple trucks on hand, also some training, whatnot. Whatever.
Where's your base? Where's home?
We're actually 2 miles south and 2 miles east of here. Yeah, we got landed out there. I just built a truck shed actually out there.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to build a house.
They tried to repair his road. for him.
Oh, you guys got that. Thank you for getting that done too. So
road's nice.
I was waiting for winter time to roll around and they just repaved the road in front of us there. So real nice.
You're on asphalt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chip seal. Good.
I couldn't stand to get my show trucks dirty.
I hope it lasts.
So fortunately, I don't go down and load it too often. So that's you can blame Dan Cobb for all that. So.
Well. It's the nature of it. We're
Oh.
all hauling a lot of weight goes down those
Yeah, a
roads.
lot of energy.
Yeah. Price you pay.
Yep.
Yes, I believe that, or Nick is calling tomorrow, is that correct?
Yes, they're calling today and tomorrow, and then officially next week they're taking, so that would be the 4th, I think.
Yeah.
You want that? You bought them. Sure, they'll change. So, I'm in the assignment, the date says August 1. Make it a whole one. Okay, okay. So,
Sorry about that.
so no, it's perfectly fine. And then we put people under pressure here and then they just, we're not under a time crunch. We'll just get it done. We say if I had a nickel for every time I was on a spot like this, I'd have a lot of nickels.
No, I didn't see anything. I won't look at it again next time.
Well. So what's it look like down in Perry? I've never been there,
Well, you ever seen the Rocky Mountains?
you know?
Imagine that, but instead of all the beauty, it's just a lot of trash.
Just a lot of trash.
It's a decently cool operation, as long as you can't smell. They have, it's a really big mountain. I guess I heard somebody from, Ham say, as far as prominence goes, once they fill in, there's 2 quarries down there, they're filling in with trash. And I've heard them say that once they do that, they'll be the most prominent, peaks in Kansas. I guess one of them was supposed to.
I've watched Topeka run, you know, in the last 15 to 20 years. So Perry's similar.
Yes, Perry is similar, and as a matter of fact, here in the next couple of years, the Topeka landfill is supposed to be running out of room. Which means all of Topeka's trash as well as Kansas City's, they do Cameron, Missouri's, and you know, Riley and all that will be coming to Perry. So it'll,
Riley County.
oh yeah, Riley, Morris, Junction, or I'm sorry, Junction City, Manhattan, Emporia, Washington, Marshall.
That's quite a pull. I had no idea.
Atchison, and they, as a matter of fact, they have Cameron, Missouri, brings their trash down there too. As well as all of Johnson County and surrounding KC area. So they get a lot of trash.
You think you had problems, Don?
Yeah.
So to the best of our ability here, we made all the necessary changes, got it fixed to GL Time LLC, changed the date to the 4th of August. So is there a motion to approve the solid waste hauling services agreement with GL Kime LLC and the assignment of the previous contract with Smith and Sons Trucking to GL Kime LLC? Is there a motion? Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. 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 Good, motion carried. All right. That is done.
Yeah, he's there today. Tomorrow, so if I can take it with, you know. Give him some.
Just want to make sure.
Sure.
Okay, so you can take this. All right. Anything else?
Jerry, need to sign it?
He does need to sign it. Yep.
Or approved, you know.
Sorry about that. You can keep that too on ceremony.
There we go. Need a date on?
No, it's in.
Well, who lives in the house that used to live, be over by the rock off the yard? That was moved.
Nobody. My husband and I lived in that house, and when John's dad passed away and we moved back to John's.
Yeah.
Home place, where he was in one range.
Dawn.
I grew up in that house when it was little.
Good to do it. Please let me know if you guys have any questions, concerns, if you're in anything.
So he's your man.
Yep.
If you deal with Don and Don deals with us.
Keep going as happy as you
You
can. Nice to
finally-
meet you too. So.
Yeah,
Nice put the face.
Nice to meet you.
You're all right.
Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Okay, are we good? All right, that was good. Don?
A couple of things. One is on July 6th, I wrote a letter requesting some. Let me start with something else. I researched those records. I requested payroll records and deposit records for Lincolnville. I started going through that. I didn't go through all of them because the pattern is that practice has been allowed for over 2 years of deposits coming in groups up to 10 days later. 10-day groups. So that's been allowed for a long time. I requested mileage and back pay for Heather for bringing the deposits she did bring in. And I'd like to know where that's at.
Okay. All right,
I always thought she was bringing it in. She always left early to bring it in before she was off the clock at 4:30.
Yeah, she's not off the
Or whatever it was.
landfill closes at 4. It's 8 to 4. Okay, she always gets there a little bit early, like 10 minutes early. And they have, and I still allow it, that if somebody pulls up to that gate at 1 minute till, we let them finish their dumping the trash and, weighing out. So there's times when it's a quarter after when she gets out of there. She clocks out, then she takes the deposit and brings it to the courthouse in her own vehicle. And it's been on her own time. There is nobody else there to take her place that wouldn't be overtime too, Brandon leaves at 3, so he's been doing. And,
She has to stay all the way till closing.
right,
I just assumed it was the other way.
we're open for business for 8 hours. And I do want them there a few minutes before because a lot of times when I get there, there are trucks sitting there at the gate waiting for us to open. And sometimes I've made them wait until we're ready for them, but other times, we'll be the nice guy and let them go through.
okay, so just for clarification, your hours are
8 to 4,
8 to 4.
Monday through Friday, and then 8 to 12 on Saturday, first and third Saturdays.
All right. So,
No deposit, well, she does make, because we're told every day it has to be made, so deposits are made on Saturdays too.
okay, so 8 to 4, you break for lunch. Then you're just open solid. All right. So how do your employees take their lunch break then? Do they stay
They-
there?
They are told to get it in when they can.
Okay, so
And that's the 2 15-minute breaks that they're allowed.
my background is not in, this. So I'm just trying to picture, Dawn, how do we structure the hours of the landfill? Here at the courthouse. We shut down 4:30, is that right? With the expectation, given some time to close. How, at the treasurer's office, when do they shut down? Is it,
Yeah, it's close to 4:30 and they work till 5.
and they work till 5, so they get a half hour. Do we need, in order to accommodate this, since it's taking her 15, 20 minutes, of extra time? Do we need to adjust the hours at the landfill for all your purposes, for everybody's benefit out there? Do we need to say, let's shut this place at 3:30? What would that do? I have no.
I think that would really inconvenience the haulers. We have a lot that come in right at the end because they're trying to rush and beat that, because they're out picking up trash all day long and they're trying to get it. I think it would be a big inconvenience to them. If it's closed, it's closed, and they'll have to work around it.
Well, what do you have for ideas?
I don't know, I agree that obviously trucks look like they're heading that way at 8 o'clock and they probably, like you say, they probably use the whole day.
Yeah.
That dump.
They would be there at 7 if we let them. The trash trucks, because they're early risers. I hear them banging around at 5 o'clock in the morning on my neighborhood. But 8 o'clock is late enough as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so in this instance, the employee is working full 8 hours a day. And what you're saying is, and we were under the assumption that this part of the time was part of that 8 hour, but it's not. So you're saying it's 8.5.
And she has no way of clocking out after she leaves the landfill. So she clocks out there and drives without it showing on a time clock. There's no way she can't clock out. Her own vehicle.
She'll work more than 40 hours a week.
Yeah. Because she's got like 10 minutes before. And
Okay.
she works a little bit after, and her Saturday, she works every, usually the first Saturday of the month.
Like on that. I didn't know she was out there yesterday. I was out there, but,
Yesterday was the day off she had to take. That's why she wasn't there.
I'm just looking around, I'm thinking, trying to think ideas. So you're the landfill manager. How do we manage this in a way that, so she's not working more hours than she's supposed to? We don't get into a lot of overtime here. And yet we still maintain quality of, service out there, so we don't disrupt the haulers. And I mean, how do we handle this, Dawn? What's your recommendation?
I can send her home early. I don't like doing that, people come, they expect to work a whole day. But she could be sent home early, like on the last Friday of her pay period. If she's got 4 hours of overtime, then she goes home at noon. That's the way that I can take care of that.
And that's gonna require you to set a scale.
Or the part-time
Of the part.
guy.
Well, we're still
Keep it
gonna,
up by it.
still gonna pay some. I mean, if you
Well,
gotta bring in the part-time
he's-
guy, you're gonna have to
He's
pay him. right?
working anyway. 20 hours a week. So that's how I can take care of it.
Is I'm not sure your schedule like. I mean, I see you out there in the morning and you're picked up sometimes. I mean, when do you come in and when do you leave today?
I go to the sheriff's office a lot first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So, I work way more than my 40 hours a week, but, I'm on salary, that's fine, that's my choice.
Yeah.
But I usually leave home between 7 and 7:30. And, I usually get home 4:30 or so.
Okay.
Whenever the dump closes, and sometimes I have to pull a trailer at the end, it might be 6:30. It's been that late before when we got out of there. But I'm on salary, so that don't matter.
Yeah.
I think there's always been a certain amount of overtime that's always happened out there because. Because when we close at 4, you still gotta close out your day. I mean, we have, well, the 8 hours, then. Probably took 2 Saturdays a month away from them. I hate taking more time during the day. That would allow it without.
You mean from the hall?
Yeah.
Customer base.
Yeah.
From now on, I think I can keep a good handle on the overtime by sending her home early. At the end of the work period, for 2 weeks. Well, Nikki. And I've been confused about this, is it 40 hour or is it 80 hour? When do I have to cut off that overtime?
I think you guys have 40 hours. Or sheriff's account.
Okay, is there a way to change it to the 80 for the ladies?
No.
So I might have to send her home every week, like at noon on Friday. To me, that's very inconvenient because she's paying her own gas and stuff for just a half a day's work.
No,
But I can do it that way.
no, and it is. I'm just trying to figure it out. So if we continue with the way things are, what you're saying is from this day forward, now she'll have, or this person will have 2.5 hours of overtime every week. Because
Yes.
of the half hour here, making the deposit. Now, how did we, and that's because she's showing up early also?
Yeah, like 10 minutes early, yeah.
Open up, turn on, so we're ready to go back at 8 o'clock.
So then she clocks in at 7:45. And she's got no way of clocking out, so you're just gonna put 15 minutes on to whatever time she.
well, we'll have to make up a plan. Right now, you know, I'm talking about historically.
Right.
It was never, so from here on, you know, we need to get a plan put in place. You know, either she gets sent home at the end of the week and, you know, I can clock her out and add that on,
Can you?
which is
Okay,
what I would probably do.
So then this is landfill management. We kind of step on your toes from time to time because you're the landfill manager, but then we have to manage the landfill manager. And every now and then we go around that, which I don't like doing because you're the man out there, you're the boss, and we respect that. But I mean, what I'd like you to do for my benefit is to come up with your preferred way of handling this, whether that be, if you think overtime, if you think sending home early. What about comp time? Can you comp time any of this, you know?
Yeah,
Where,
she'd be willing to do that.
I
We
mean,
talked
then
about
you
comp
wouldn't
time.
see her for a few, because if a half an hour a day. You know, that would end up being, you know,
Yeah,
I can't do the math that fast. You'd have to do it.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be several days of comp time in the year, but
but she may get, you know, a day off a month. At her convenience.
and really, it's not a day off. I mean, she's putting the time in. She
Right.
just, I
Like
mean,
a
that's
day
how it
off.
works, right?
Save us the overtime.
So then, I mean, if we could do it that way,
Okay,
but then that puts you in a pickle because she's not gonna be there. Who fills in then?
well. I can do all that. So, you know, as long as it's scheduled and I'm there, okay. We
Okay.
got the part-time guy. That's what he's there for, is running the
Okay.
scale.
Okay,
So as long as, you know, we've got a backup for him, which is me. So,
so do you
we
think that
can do
would
it.
be,
Yeah.
would that be, okay? Can you put something on paper for us? I mean, so. We
well,
need to make
it's,
the
it's
correction.
like a policy and procedure. It just needs to be wrote down that this is the policy for
Yeah.
managing the overtime.
And do you have a book, like a landfill book that you use? Or for policy and procedure out there? Since you're your own manager, I mean, do you need something like that? Would it be beneficial?
It depends on how detailed you get, you know.
So,
Just law enforcement's the one I'm used to, and that's thousands of pages long. I don't wanna get into that down here, but
so. We find ourselves, because your background is law enforcement and you're very detail oriented. And that's why we sometimes get crossed because I'm more of a general and you're very specific, which is, it's fine either way, but. Since you're the manager out there, I'd like to see what your expectations are. And if you have them down, then we don't have to guess. And then we work better together. I mean, does that make sense?
okay,
And
as long as I don't have to have a policy and procedure for everything, you
sure.
know, just make them as we need them.
Well, that's kind of
Okay.
what I'd like. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we went through, this deal we went through a month ago was if we'd have had something on paper, you know, or
Yeah.
then, and if I would have done it right by working with you instead of kind of telling you what we thought, you know, that would have been better too. And really my goal is, Dawn, since you're the manager out there, if you could take that load off of us to where, I mean, you've got your own book, everything's out there. And if you need our help, because you know,
Mhm.
we still are in charge, I guess.
Right.
But you're doing it. I mean, I think that just even things like when we come to this budget, you gave us all the numbers, excellent stuff. But when I read that document, the landfill's supported by user fees. Okay, so I'd like to see something in there. I mean, does that mean we need to pay for full-time employees' benefits? Does that money need to come from the user fees? I mean, I think we need to talk about that too. And we talked about a capital improvement plan. I'd love to see what you have there on, I mean,
Mhm.
am I making sense or am I just rambling now?
And when you bring up adding more expenses to me.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go back and go the other direction too and go, you know, how come BCDS, we haven't got reimbursed for that? Because if we have to pay all this, then I have to fight as the manager and get that money brought back in.
Yep, and that's right. And so that's on my list and I've got you as paying back. Do we have the room in Nikki, in the general fund, if we wanted to reimburse the landfill for 2025 for the BCDS, it's approximately, well, it's or
It's
other
like
commissioners.
10,000. That sound right?
Oh, 7.
I had 7,000.
Okay.
Using your number. So,
All right,
so I don't think we can reach back
so half a year
too.
so far in 2025 is.
Yeah, so
35.
we have changed our budget and we're gonna bump on time. We increased that allotment to BCDS to cover that. So now they'll be working with you in 2026. You should, they will be paying.
Okay.
We increased that to take care of that.
Okay.
So that should be taken care of. But I do, I mean, if we have money left in our commissioner's fund or general, whatever it be, I mean, I think we can reach back to this year also. Because you are, by resolution, supposed to be self-supporting out there. And so you're right. If we're asking you to take things on, then we're making life tough. So,
And another one is roads. We're gonna be billing them. They brought in, I think it was 8 semi tires yesterday.
yeah,
And we have to pay to get rid of those tires. Right up front, we have to. So we're billing for
okay. All
that,
right.
which has never been done before.
Well, and then we need to work out some sort of give and take then. So when we bring the road and bridge brings trucks into the dirt, we've talked about this too.
Well, and I've made arrangements.
You've already
for a
done that.
Dump truck to come in, a private one to come in, we're paying the FEMA rates and so we get our work done,
Oh, okay.
because. When we ask, they're busy and, at $30 an hour, they're still not real interested in doing the work. And
Uh,
you got private people that are.
That are
jumping
wanting
up
to
and
do it.
down Going, I want to do it for you, so
Really?
if, I can get a few dollars cheaper and do it private, that's what I'm gonna do.
No, that's fine. That's management. I mean, I think so. That's too bad, but it's that way, but
Gotta get the job done.
yeah. Okay, so in summation here, then, can you come up with like the preferred way of handling this?
Yes. So.
And then are we good?
With the policy and procedure,
Okay, and then anything else? I mean, are we good?
yeah,
Okay,
I think so,
okay, and this new contract with the new hauler, that's gonna be wonderful, everything.
yeah.
Okay, okay, well, you're doing a fine job out there. You really get a mountain of trash every day. And it's gotta be overwhelming at times, I would think.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, all right.
We've been lucky not having major repairs. That's what I'm worried about. We gotta get some maintenance done on that shag truck.
Okay,
So we're, gonna try to, once we get some of this building stuff out of the way. We can work on it.
okay. Would you make time, then when you come up with this, would you make time to come and see us again and let us know what you got? And if you need any help or anything, give us a call or let Nick know and we'll be glad to work with you. So we're in good shape?
Okay, yeah. Still, we haven't made a decision on the back.
That's what I'm hoping you come up with.
All right, well,
On the,
I thought we were talking about from here on. The
Oh.
comp time.
We're gonna have to.
What are you wanting for I put down, here's what I think she deserves
Mhm.
for the last 2 years. Okay, so I don't have a policy on that. That's historical. Here's what's been happening and I don't think it's right.
Okay. We're gonna have to talk about it.
That's
and we're gonna have to
fine.
come back. We're gonna have to come back to it. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Really. All right. See you later. Okay, it's 9:04 and we made you wait and I apologize. But next on the agenda is Watco. So. And we've got,
You can wait, no problem whatsoever.
well, I didn't mean to do it.
I'm Greg Watkins.
Lucas Hines.
Nice meeting with you.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich.
Howdy.
No.
Now you came in from
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yes, sir. And with me, I've got Jessica Hawkins, with me also, Jessica, sorry, I'm the county executive benefit consultant with Watkins. Hi, Jess.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi.
Uh,
So nice drive up there, it was so rainy.
just keeps raining.
It's a beautiful day today.
Can't say that every year, can you?
No, we can't. No, we're in good shape. We're very blessed. Kansas City, you guys have had, more water than you really want, I think, so.
A lot of rain. Well, it seems like, I don't know if you all have had a chance to I sent all you, so you.
We got it, but paper is, we love paper,
Paper, we
all
love
marked on it.
paper. Yeah, absolutely.
You need one?
Yeah, I'll just take one then.
Yeah, so Jess is gonna work with me as we kind of talk through, the information today.
Okay.
We appreciate you making the time for us. I'm Greg Watkins. I've been working with Brown County along with Jess for about 4 years now. I've been in the employee benefit space, gosh, for a long time. Our job is to make sure that we listen, and that we provide our expertise in the marketplace relative to benefits. It's my understanding that a lot of the focus today is gonna be on making sure that we've got the most cost-effective plan available in the marketplace. And I think some of the information that we're gonna review today will provide some insight for you on what we're doing and why we're doing it. But my objective is always, our collective objective is always to start and make sure that we understand your objectives within the meeting before we even talk. So, with that being said, you know, is there anything that you'd like to guide us collectively on in regard to what your objectives are for us?
When I went through this online here on the iPad, it looks like you're gonna hit everything, because you've got fully funded, you've got what we have, this Freedom Claims, which I'm not, he came in a couple weeks ago, so you know that's there, so you're gonna talk about that, and then this state plan.
State plan.
So, I mean, I think you're gonna cover every question, and you've even got a different, an alternative Cigna. Yeah, so this is gonna be great.
Okay.
Information, I love it.
Perfect. So if we look at, the meeting agenda, and we just kind of run through. The first thing we're gonna talk about is the claim, and the claims incurred by the employees and the families are what help drive the cost of the plan. So it's nice when you have 70 employees, not all companies will allow you to get the claims data. So most companies less than 100 employees that we would go with would not provide the claims data. So we're able to get the claims data. That allows us to measure the value of the plan that we're recommending and the value that Brown County is getting relative to the investments that we're making. So I think that's really very, very important. And then, like you say, we are going to focus a lot on what's available within the market. And when Brown County hired Watco, it was with the intent of reviewing the entire market on a regular basis and making sure that we're connecting to your needs and making sure that we're doing the best job that we can in providing the most cost-effective benefit plan for you. So we'll evaluate all the various options. Something that is unique on a self-funded plan, and it's unique to self-funded, and we've talked about this, is there's something called prescription rebates. And what happens with prescription rebates is manufacturers provide incentives for pharmaceutical companies to distribute their product on a preferred basis. So what happens, we get rebates from the manufacturers. If you're fully insured, you don't get rebates. And that's a value that you have when you're self-funded. It's not the main reason that we went to a self-funded plan, but it's related to about $80,000 in the last 12 months. It's not insignificant. So we'll talk about that as well. And then just in general, I mean, I'm very open. I think Jess and I both, we want to make sure that we meet your needs. That's the way we conduct our business. So if there's anything as we go through this information that we can help you with, or if you have any questions on anything, well, one thing that I would say is I've been in the business a long time, but I really try to focus on making sure our customers understand the various components, and it's complicated. Healthcare has become very complicated. It's also very expensive. It's expensive. So, the balance between expensive and complicated is such that I just want to make sure that, you know, when I leave here, to the extent that we can, that we're all on the same page and that you get that we've done everything that we possibly can for the residents, for your employees, and for Brown County. Any questions? Before I jump in.
On the prescription rebate,
Yep.
does that, are patients able to use generics also? Or is this, how does all that work? Does a prescription rebate program push employees into higher dollar medicine?
Yeah, so the employees pay less on generic drugs. So the employees and some of the doctors, not all the doctors, but some of the doctors will work with the patient effectively to prescribe more cost-effective drugs.
Okay.
Other doctors will not.
Right.
And one of the things that we see with your group, and we have seen, is we've seen a high incidence of diabetes. And with the high incidence of diabetes, one of the things that we're challenged with is the prescription cost with the insulin and the metformin and the various drugs to treat diabetes can be very expensive. So the brand name drugs have higher rebates. So even though what happens is, even though the employee is paying a more expensive cost for a brand drug, Brown County gets the money back in the form of a rebate.
To overcome the difference in generic.
At least in theory. Well, I mean, in theory, I mean, if we were fully insured, we would not get that rebate. The employee would pay less. The premium might be a little bit lower, but you wouldn't get the money back. So that's a difference between, I mean, and as we get into the 5 different options that we're gonna bring to the table today, we'll be able to kind of point out some pros and cons associated with being fully insured versus self-funded, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
So still, it's better if they use the cheaper drugs in the long run for us.
It's always better for the employee.
Well,
From a cost perspective,
How about the employer? It's more effective. I mean,
yeah, I mean, so what happens is, you know, some drugs might not be as effective for the employee as others. And you know, sometimes the generic is not as efficient for the employee relative or the member.
I guess what I'm saying is this rebate is only 80% of the cost. We don't get the full difference in the price back. I mean, if the
You get
employee,
80% of the rebate.
if the
That's-
employee paid $100, but the other medicine was $200, we wouldn't get $100 back.
Yeah, so what happens is you've got a cost of the drug to the employee and to the plan. And because when you're self-funded, the employee's gonna pay a portion of it. And then the plan is gonna, Brown County is gonna pay a portion, depending on where they are toward their deductible through the year. What the other piece of it, and this is where it can get a little complicated, is as the claim goes through the system, there's a rebate that's paid back to Blue Cross as a result of which drug is prescribed by the doctor. And that rebate, it goes back to Blue Cross, then on self-funded plans, then they'll send us back the rebate. So what I'm saying is it's about $80,000. That's what it's been in the last 4 months. So that 80,000, you'll see how it offsets your cost as a result of being self-funded. So
Does the prescription, is that part of this gap coverage? So if an employee has $1,000 worth of medicine they have to pay for, that's what they're, and then over and above that, no, it doesn't. She's shaking her head. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the employees pay their own.
the employee will pay a copay.
You want to come up here? No? Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the employee will pay a copay. They'll pay an out-of-pocket cost for the copay.
So I'm guilty of not completely understanding. I had bits and pieces and nuggets of our insurance policy, but I have a hard time putting it all together. So I'm always learning.
Yeah.
So this is wonderful. One thing, I guess we had all these options. Did you do anything with direct primary care? You did.
Well, so the direct primary care is, that's a program that is kind of separate from everything that we're talking about.
Okay, all right.
So it's something that we've had on the agenda for a while. And direct primary care works really effectively when you're self-funded, because what happens, you're paying a monthly fee for all services, and those services don't get billed in the self-funded plan.
Mhm,
You follow me?
mhm.
So you're paying $50, say, per month for all your primary care, and then some various other things, including chronic condition management, sometimes depending on the clinic. Some prescriptions that are rendered, some x-ray work, some lab work, potentially, depending on the clinic. So it's like it capitates the care, and a lot of people say it improves the care, because you get access quicker. You get access quicker, and you get a relationship with your doctor, and you're able to get in, because a lot of people, now, if you try to get into your primary care doctor, you think, well,
So you see this, you have experience with direct primary care in your business,
Mhm.
and you see it as a viable alternative
well,
or an
it-
addition, or what is the right
It
word?
would be an addition.
An
It would be an addition. It would be a way to improve the health of your employees. And we've talked about it. I mean, it's just an additional investment. And that is a challenge when you say we're tight on our budget right now. And we say, what are some ways that we can improve the health of the employees? Well, when we get into the investments, what happens is you have fixed cost and you have claims cost, but you have a total cost. And there's only so much money to go around, right?
Sure.
So it's hard to think, it has been difficult to think about putting an additional $50 or $75 per member on the investment plate, when you're already paying a lot of money as it is. But we think, those companies that, I mean, that's why I like the self-funded approach, is because you're paying your minimum cost for your administration, allows you some flexibility in being able to do something like this. If you're paying a fully insured cost and your cost, the clinic does not impact the bottom line investment. It makes it harder to justify. When you're self-funded, it makes it a lot easier to justify the clinic.
So with our high incident of diabetes and cardiovascular disease, does a direct care model, you said, does that bring better health to employees? Is that?
No, I mean, the thought is that it sure cannot hurt, because I think it enhances the relationship. It removes some of the barriers. And I think some of the local clinic, when we talked to them, if you'll remember, one of the things that they were hitting on pretty aggressively is how expensive the drugs are that the employees are utilizing for diabetes. And they felt like they could help the employees manage their care more effectively. And that was a large portion of their pitch. Well,
That's a piggyback on our insurance.
It is a
It's not,
piggyback.
it's not,
it's not a replacement.
not a replacement.
It's not a replacement. It's like an add-on. It's an edit to maybe help make that.
So it would only be as good as employee participation.
Just like anything, I mean, I think all wellness programs, healthcare in general, I mean, it's only as good as the employees are invested.
So our wellness
in
program
maintaining
was-
their health.
Was not utilized or utilized very little.
Well, I mean, I think that's not unusual to a degree when you look at loan programs. I think we put together some things. And it's just, it's like a lot of companies that go self-funded. I mean, it's not a one-year thing. You have to stick with it over a long period of time. Because, I mean, the fully insured market, we might get that and give us a good quote. They haven't, but it's not a long-run thing. That's why, honestly, most companies want to get where you are. They want to get to a self-funded plan. They want to be, I mean, most of our clients that are larger in the state of Kansas want to get to a self-funding plan across. So that's, I mean, we think you're in a good spot, but there's risk involved with it, and if it's not, if it doesn't fit, then I think there's some other options that we consider. Let's go, just the page 3, you'll kind of see the renewal. And there's 5 lines of coverage that we help you manage. Your medical plan with Blue Cross is up January 1. The Delta dental plan is also up January 1. We have a vision care program, a flex plan, and then we have some life insurance. But the vision's not up, it's has a guarantee on the rates. The principal life and the health equity is up, January 1, 2026. So if you flip to the next page.
What's health equity?
It's, so they do, an HSA administration, they also do flex plan administration. So where you set money aside on a pre-tax basis.
Health savings.
Health savings.
Okay.
Okay, so claims, when I say claim determined premium, and as we look at the various options. It's nice to be able to evaluate, I think, how the claims for the group have evolved over the last 4 years. And we have been involved, and if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, there's a box there that says a plan paid. It's bottom right, see where it says like for 7/21, this is annual claims for a 12-month period, claims that are paid. And for 7/21 to 6/30/22, the total was 531,000. You see that?
Mhm.
So we had 531,000. The next year we had 641,000. The next year we had $1 million. Next, $1,073,000, and then the most recent 12 months, we've got 701,460. So what happens when you look at a plan and you look at the rates, when you have 70 employees, we kind of tend to see things go like this. You're gonna have a good year, and then you're gonna have a bad year, then you'll have another good year, and then you might have another bad year. But in general, medical costs, particularly in the most recent 12 months, they're going up at inflation is enough, but medical costs are going up even at a higher level. They just are. And the companies that insure, fully insure, where you pay the premium and they pay all the claims, they're at the whim of the insurance company on setting the price for the coverage. And we've seen in the fully insured market, the rates be very volatile. When you have a bad year, you're gonna get a 35 to 40% rate increase. When you have a good year, you might get 10%, but really, you probably should have gotten no increase at all. That's why a lot of our clients are moving to self-funded plans, because it gives you some more control. If you want to write down a couple of numbers, I would encourage you to do that going into the next page. The number I would write down is 737,029. That's just the average over the last 4 years. The average over the last 4 years has been $737,029. So 737,029. The other number that I'd like you to write down, if you don't mind, is what happens whenever we go self-funded. There's claims above a certain level that are thrown out. So, and what that is called a stop loss level for a specific claim. Specific stop loss level, and our stop loss level that we pay for is $50,000. So $50,000. And over the last 4 years, we've had $400,000 of claims over the stop loss level. 400,000. So we're averaging about $100,000 a year in claims above the stop loss level. So the other thing that I would urge you to think about is anything above 50,000 is not Brown County's liability on a self-funded plan. So we can just say that our net claim, if you will, under that scenario would be roughly about $637,000. So the 737 would be the average, the 100,000 above the pooling level would be the average. So if we could say going into the next page, our claims have been $637,000. So that's the net claim. That's what we've been paying for. Now, I do want to reiterate, we haven't been self-funded the whole time, but let's just, I mean, we're just talking conceptually right now. We're talking conceptually, and we're saying, so over the last 4 years, had we been self-funded, we've been self-funded over the last year and a half. But whenever we look at making decisions and we look at planning and we say, do we want to stay with the self-funded plan? Or do we want to go back to the fully insured market? I think it's always good for us to say, well, let's look at where the claims have been. So we've had $637,000 of claims on average.
If it's employee spouse, is that 50,000 for the employee and the spouse?
It's for each individual insured on the plan.
And the same thing in the family then?
Same thing on the family. Yeah,
Okay.
so employee 50,000 liability, spouse 50,000 liability, each kid 50,000 liability. And it's all claims that are incurred throughout the entire year.
So Brown County insures employee spouse. Does that include the gap coverage too? Is 50,000? Or is that separate?
That gap coverage would be set.
So then it's really $54,000 a hit.
That's a really good point. Yes, it is.
So if
Yeah.
I'm insuring an
Yeah.
employee, not only is the
Yeah.
county paying the premium, but we're liable for the first 54,000 in medical coverage.
Yeah, because what's happening is that the county is reimbursing the employee for 1,000 up to 3,500 plus another 1,000. Wait, it's 3,500.
It's 3,500.
3,500.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do is communicate value to our employees and actual cost to the county, especially cost exposure.
Yeah.
When an employee has an employee spouse and they're paying $300 a month, give or take, whatever the number is for that spouse's coverage, and the county assumes the employee's 100%. You know, in reality, we're paying that premium. They're getting my math is quick here, $140,000 worth of. The county's exposed to $140,000 worth of health insurance coverage for employee spouse, and their contribution is $300 a month times 12, like $3,600. I mean, it seems to me to be very generous.
Tell me where you're getting 100.
If they have a health incident, something, exposure is what I'm trying to say. So we actually spend the 16,000 on premium for the employee.
Okay.
Or is it 13? It's somewhere now.
Yeah, it's 15,
15, whatever. So for 15,
Yeah.
and so that's 30,000 total. I think employee contribution for the spouse is around 3 to say 400, just say 500, easy math, 600. So $24,000 is what the county contributes for health insurance premium for employee spouse, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, then if the employee spouse would get sick, God forbid, I mean, this is all what is, but there's another 53.5 times 2 plus the 24. I mean, the county seems to me like we really are. I mean, I don't know how far a person can extend themselves.
Yeah.
It seems like we've come a
Yeah,
long
I
way.
think that's actually 50,000 and all because that's part of our premium. It's not an extra additional 50,000 that we're paying out because we're self-insured.
Well, I mean, really, if you looked at it that way, I would look at what the liability is versus the 50,000, because there's a cap. It's 50,000 per individual, but there's also what's called an aggregate cap. The aggregate cap limits the liability for the whole group as a whole. So,
I mean, that's
so really, I would probably look at it more along the lines of what the maximum cost is per month per employee, and then annualize that. Because the 50,000, yes, it's true, you have 54,000 the way you out, 53.5, I guess, technically. 53.5 in liability for every employee, but there's a cap on it for the whole group.
which would
That
bring
brings
it down. Sure.
Yeah, it brings it down, but I mean, in theory, the 50,000, that's a choice that the counties make.
Sure.
It's not a choice that the employees make. So really, I think the way I would, and really the next page will do a really good job
Okay.
of getting into it, but I mean. We were, Jess and I were talking about this on the way up, it's kind of like, there's no question that the employee has a very low deductible. On the plan,
Mhm.
and they have a very low out of pocket relative to most companies that are out there.
Mhm.
And the fact that they're not paying for any single coverage. I mean, honestly, most companies don't require the employee to pay, we talked about that. I mean, the average employee is paying $100 a month for single coverage, so. You know, so they're just trade-offs. There's
Sure.
trade-offs.
I'm trying to put together a value proposition to the people that work for the county. So the employees understand this is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And at a 10%, even you said if we don't go over our stop loss and say we have a really good year, I mean, our rates are still gonna go up. So
Okay.
I think that's fair, you know, if they went 5 to 10 to 7, somewhere in there. I mean, it's health insurance as it currently sits. I mean, nobody wants to talk about it because everybody just wants it to be the way it is or the way it was, but it's unsustainable. We just can't do this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but this is fun. I mean, I like numbers and information and
So.
we're learning.
So if we go to the next page, keep in mind that 737 minus the 100,000, I mean, we're really, the net amount has been 637,000. Well, what happens is the accounting on your plan is done on an annual basis. And this is an example of a report that we get every month, and we've reviewed these over the years in our meetings. Well, the column that is the second column from the right, that reflects what the claims have been that the county's been liable for this year. So think about $273,000. So this year, we've had $273,000 claims. We're having a much better year this year than we did last year. So far, but I mean, the trend is, I mean, we were a lot higher than this. Now, your liability is the column on the right, that's the 454. So. So far this year, we've got about 150 plus another 25. We've got about, you know, roughly enough, we got about $175,000 of positive surplus. So we're in a better position this year than we were last. Now, we're gonna have to, we've got 6 more months plus to run out, for claims to run out. But say the claims continue to run really well, let's just say conservatively, the claims in the second half of the year are always higher, typically higher than what they are in the first half of the year. But probably 600, just call it $600,000. We'd be very happy if we were at 600,000. That would be, you know, the claims pretty much running the way they were, but that would be significantly lower, and it would be probably $300,000 in surplus compared to what we funded. So the bottom line is things are developing well. This is why we've gone self-funded. This is why companies go self-funded, because last year we had a bad year. You know, most likely we would have gotten a larger rate increase if we were fully insured. Okay, any questions? There's a lot of information here, I get that, and something else that I would point out is if you look at, for example, the total payments. See that 50,000, and then there's a $50,000 specific stop loss level that's referenced up in the top right. This year, we've had no claims above 50. I mean, we're just having a much better year this year. Last year, we had 255,000 claims over. Last year, we had over $1 million claim.
Got a question.
Yep.
So what's the difference between the total allowed charges and the total payments?
So that's a good question. The total allowed charges would be the eligible charges that went through the plan. Some of which are allowed, and some of them went toward deductible, they went toward co-insurance. So payments would be the net amount after you take deductible, after you take co-insurance, after you take, some expenses might not be eligible on the plan. So the total payments would be the total amount that Blue Cross paid after deductible and co-insurance. That make sense?
I didn't know if that meant, seemed like the hospitals sometimes have a higher cost than what the insurance companies pay.
Yeah, well, basically what allowed would be, that would be after taking the PPO list. So, I mean, yeah,
What's
lots of
PPO?
times the PPO, the hospital will charge twice what's allowed. So that allowed amount is not the gross charge, which that's
What the,
the net that's eligible, and then after you take deductible and co-insurance, that would be.
So define attachment point again.
Yeah, good question. So what attachment point is that there's something called expected claims. And expected claims are typically 80% of the maximum for the attachment line. Attachment is equal to the maximum claims liability for health. And that's the other, so really, with a self-funded plan, you have your maximum claims, which is similar to which is the same as attachment. That's the point when you were referencing 50,000 per employee. You have two forms of protection. One is called your specific stop loss level for 50,000 for every one individual, and the other is your attachment. That's the claims for the whole group. If the claims run over a certain amount, then they're capped on a monthly basis. So we have a monthly attachment point. It's almost like being fully insured, because they cap your cash flow. Like, for example, if we had a $1 million claim real early in the year, the liability would be 50,000 for the one individual or 76,000 for the whole group of the month. That makes sense?
It will.
Yeah.
It will. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm processing.
sure, that is cool.
All right.
So if we flip to the next page, and I'll come back to that attachment. Jess, I feel like I've kind of left you on an island over there. Is there anything that you would add or any comments up to this point?
Think so.
Okay. He's a lot smarter than I am.
You must be doing a good job then.
Thank you. I
Everything
appreciate
said.
that. Yeah, we're lucky to have her. So if you look at, bullet number 2, that would be your current plan. So bullet number 2 is your current plan, and we're on a self-funded plan with a $50,000 maximum per individual. And then you remember when you just asked me what the attachment level is? Well, if you look at maximum claims is the same as attachment. So if we have no claims at all throughout the year, our minimum cost is $469,000. Okay, our minimum cost. So no matter what we do, the county's liable for $469,000. So you might think, why am I paying $469,000? That's why. Well, the $469,000 for the plan administration, for all the expenses, all the regulatory compliance, all of the claims people, the PPO network. It's also for any claims above 50,000. There's it's like for buying a $50,000 deductible. So that's all of that is included in the fixed cost. So if we look back and we think, okay, well, we had 469,000 over the last 3 years, that's your fixed cost. Over the last 3 or 4 years, we've had, you remember that number we were talking about, 639? So we could almost say, well, 469, your net cost over the last 4 years in claims, then what, 639? So really, I mean, if you think about what we've been paying, in theory, if we were self-funded, it's about the 469 plus the 630. The 469 plus 639 is kind of really in effect. So that's 8, 0, 10. It's 1,080,000. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? You guys follow that? That's just what we've been. I mean, if you look at fixed cost plus where a claim has been, that's about what we've been paying, what we would have been paying. Now, the other thing that we haven't even considered with that is the rebates. We're getting about $80,000 of rebates as a result of being self-funded. So that $80,000 would come off the $1 million. So we're roughly self-funded. I mean, we could almost look at it and say, how we produced? Well, probably about $1 million a year minus, give or take. There's a couple things to think about. Is our maximum is quite a bit higher. Our maximum is $1,343,000. When you add the fixed cost plus the fixed cost, the minimum cost, plus your maximum claims, our liability is when that's what we've been funding. Now, last year at the renewal, we came back and said, well, Blue Cross is gonna allow us to hop into a fully insured plan at $1.1 million. Does that make sense for us to do that? And we had just gone to a self-funded plan and they put a very aggressive offer on the table. So, I mean, we had an opportunity if we wanted to guarantee our savings to go back to a fully insured plan, but you have to add $80,000 to that number right off the bat, right? Because the rebate, we're not gonna get back. But we had an option if we wanted to go back to Blue Cross with that fully insured plan, but we decided not to.
So if you added 80,000, you're talking about adding 80,000 onto the 1,161,000.
Yeah.
So that.
And that is a minimum cost.
And
You're gonna pay that regardless of what.
so that's actually just only like $100,000 less than.
About 100,000. And when you look at that, and the other thing that I would urge you to consider is, you're gonna have a year where you have like $1 million claim, and we have a really bad year. If we have that year and we're in a fully insured plan, you're gonna get a big rate increase. You're gonna get a 20% increase, 25% increase. And then when we renew, you're not gonna get a chance to get any of that money back. Because typically they always overreact. It's never a two-way street. And even in the year when you have a real good claims year, you're still gonna ask for a rate increase. And that's why companies are going with self-funded plan. Now, I went through an awful lot of stuff there. We went through a lot of stuff. I want to just be quiet for a second before I get into some of these other deals. Because, I mean, there's another option here that I think you have to consider, honestly. I mean, there's another option that I think is worthwhile considering, but before I get into anything else, I want you guys to, address any questions that you might have. Does it make sense why we went to a self-funded plan based off what we've talked about logically, and if it's clear to you, Lucas, where we're at? Do you have any questions about it?
Yeah, clear is, I'm not comfortable with that. It's not clear. I'm starting to grasp it, and I can see the numbers.
I mean, Jess and I are not completely clear on everything you do either, so.
Well, it's, so this minimum cost. Minimum cost with our current plan is 470,000 plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you gotta add the 637,000, which is the number you gave us from before.
Yeah,
And that was our average net spend on claims
Yeah.
under 50,000.
Exactly.
Okay.
Over the last 4 years.
So that gets you, and that's just, we're guessing there, but if
Yeah.
we stay on
We
average,
stay on.
we're at 1,008,000, but then you subtract this prescription refund from there.
Yep.
And then that gets you 928,000.
900.
Okay,
Got it.
but that's average.
And that's the average, and I think you look at it and say, well, what's gonna happen in the future? It's really hard to tell, but I think one of the things that you're onto is companies that go self-funded, instead of just looking for a better price, they're looking for a better deal on one year to the next. I think we exert our efforts on ways that we can help our employees be helped. I think we look at things like the client. You know, you look at things like promoting wellness, you look at things like making sure people go see their doctor. And that's what a lot of our clients that are self-funded, they're not looking just for a better deal every year, because honestly, I mean, it's not a long-term deal. I mean, we can get somebody to give us 80, get somebody to give us a cheap quote. But even that's gonna go up, come back, and you're losing a lot of control.
Thinking how. On an individual basis, I think makes a lot of sense, because you can take, the healthier you stay, the less you're gonna pay.
Right.
But when employees don't aren't contributing very much, I mean, how do you encourage them to be healthier? I mean,
Well, I think,
I guess-
I mean,
You
I
can't-
think people appreciate typically what they have a little skin and,
right,
I think the fact of the matter is, you know, I don't have to pay for my kids don't have to pay for it, and do they appreciate it twice as much?
that's one thing, I guess.
Or, you know, if they're not doing work before they get their allowance, they appreciate their allowance.
So, I don't know how we address that problem.
Well, I think communication, education. Say, hey, well, what we've done in the past, maybe we have to look at it a little bit different. No,
So we're paying for essentially $50,000 reduction. Policy.
that's right.
Okay,
That's right.
but the county stands the first 50,000 plus,
Well,
plus
subject to the limit.
subject to the limit. So
Subject
that,
to 1.3 million.
and so if you took 1.3 and then divided it by the total participants in the plan, which like when it says family here, that family might be 5 people. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
And employee and children, that might be, could be as high as whatever, I guess, to have a big
Right.
family.
Right.
I'm not sure what do you know what the total number is, Barb? Or- Yeah, just with everybody
It's not
lumped
right.
in. Oh, you've got it. Well, okay, so does that mean employee and an employee plus spouse? Is that if we total that up, that's the total number of people in our plan?
Yeah, the total number would be, and we're not gonna get it exact, because we don't have the number of children.
Oh,
So, but we've got 50 single,
yeah.
50 husband and wife. 50 employee and just children, it can be 1 child or 5,
Yeah.
and then 1 family.
So I was trying to get an exact number, so I can take that 1.343 million maximum cost, divide it by the number of participants, and then on
Yeah,
that
I
value proposition, then I can see what the county.
Well, I think one good way to do it is to take it by the number. You can take
I think,
50.
I think the number is 105.
105, look at that.
Yep,
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
you're welcome.
Okay. Okay, so that's, all right. I mean, that, if you divide it by 105, that takes that down quite a bit. On that. Maybe that number doesn't even mean anything.
Well, I think that's what is program.
It's basically 12,000 even. Okay. Okay, so the way my brain works is I'm taking this in and it makes a lot of sense. And then my brain will get full and the numbers will start to run together. But you've explained to me this minimum cost, this average spend, claims under 50,000. So we arrive at this 1,008,000, we subtract the prescription rebate, we come to 928.
Yep.
All right, so then Bill had mentioned things about, and you had also too about, things are worth what you pay for them. How do I, as a manager, as a commissioner, as a manager, I mean, this is our business. How do we manage this issue? How do we we want to provide excellent health care for our employees because in the past, that's what has been done. And so we want to continue this on, but we're in an environment where, I mean, this is pushing companies that are much bigger than us beyond their limits. It's stretching them and it's a huge component. So it's an employee benefit. But we need employees to do their part to keep our costs down. The only way we get that done is, in my mind, is money has to come out of their pocket somehow. Whether that's a contribution to a monthly premium, whether that's a higher gap, whatever that, to define that number, a bigger spend instead of this $1,500, is that prescription and then maybe that turns into 3,000. I don't know. But am I right? Am I wrong? Is there a correlation between employee money spent and health outcomes at all, or insurance outcomes?
I think, it's a challenging question, and I think a lot of what we fall back on to a degree. And Jess, feel free to jump in here, but, we look at a lot of benchmark. And the benchmark data that we would say is what do other companies do as a starting point. And, that doesn't mean what other companies are doing is right in Brown County. But I can tell you that most companies require their employees to pay a portion of the same cost. So I think if we look at that as, the majority of companies, and the number is typically $100. And if you look at the average, that's what they pay. That doesn't mean that that's the right number. That's just the average. And I think, we're going to talk about another alternative, this Kansas state plan. Well, that Kansas state plan mandates that the employee pay a portion of the cost. So if we look at that plan, we're gonna have to go to that anyway. And if you want to go to that plan, you're gonna have to go to so the other thing that I would say is, the out-of-pocket level for an individual. And part of that, help me on this, Kes. What's the out-of-pocket level for the employee now? At 2,500?
So the out-of-pocket level right now is 5,000 for an individual, 10,000 for family.
But the employee pays 1,000. And then the county pays the next 2,500 for the deductible. So the employee only pays 1,000 there, right? That's 1,000. And then the county pays another 1,000 on the co-insurance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the out-of-pocket would not be 5,000 because the county's paying 1,500 plus another 1,000. So it would be 2,500 minus 5,000. So the employee out-of-pocket would be 2,500. So 2,500 is what the employee, correct me if I'm wrong, is that right, Barb? Yeah. So it's 2,500 would be the employee out of pocket. By the time the county reimburses them for the gap plan and the co-insurance. So 2,500 is lower. I mean, 5,000 would be the norm. So, that's another way that I'm not saying that's gonna move the deal, that honestly is just shifting cost to the employee, but there's two ways you could do it, and you can do both. You could raise what the employee pays, and then you could also, it's the gap, you could say, we're not gonna start it until 2,000 instead of 1,000.
So with that, what I'm trying to, okay, so you say shift cost to employee, but does that shift motivation to the employee? Because I look at this document from the 9th of June and our per member per cost towards whatever facility charges are 50% higher, 57% higher than Blue Cross Blue Shield's book for this congestive heart failure, all this other stuff. And then we're 88% higher on diabetic therapy. So,
I think when people are sick, that's why you have health insurance.
Sure.
And I can't tell you that raising the amount they pay is gonna, long run, I think, the more the wellness stuff, the seeing the doctor on an annual basis, the taking care of themselves. I think you'll see those things pay off a lot more than just raising the amount that they pay. I mean, I don't think asking them to pay more is gonna reduce a heart condition. I mean, maybe long run it
Diabetes.
might,
Diabetes, if it's not genetic,
yeah.
if it's
I mean,
behavioral,
that's like, to me, that's lifestyle.
that's what I'm at.
It's lifestyle choice. I think it's, you modify and you educate the employees. You work with them on ways that they can improve their health. You incent them for seeing the doctor. I think we're already doing that, right? Are we incenting them for seeing the doctor?
Basically, either wellness, computer, and like this. Get up the bottom.
Is that people taking part in that?
Well, this is our first year.
First year.
Yeah. So just take-
Four people.
How many?
Well, yeah, just for the employee though, on the spouse, just the employee.
Okay. All right, well, so then, this is where I get confused, because I think I understand that it's worth what you pay for it. But then, so I take that to mean if I put more money into it, then it's worth more to me. So I take that to mean I'm gonna value it more and do,
Yeah,
but then I hear that we're not gonna change maybe outcomes if I have the employee pay more. So I'm just a little
Well,
in the hinterlane.
I'm happy to do some more analytical research with the resources that we have to see if we can correlate health to what the employees pay for the plan. I don't know, that might be something we draw on, to see if there's anything out there that shows that, an attachment to cost, improves people's health. I mean, I think,
You see a lot of stuff that we don't. You work with a lot of different companies. I'm just asking your opinion, really. You don't have to throw numbers at, if you got research on every question I asked you, you'd never get to do anything else.
well, no, but it's something that we can research. I mean, we do it enough. I'm just not sure there's a direct correlation between what the employee pays and their health. I mean, I'm just not, I
That's
think
fair.
it's more the wellness stuff and the education and the preventive care. And then, I think the clinic could go a long way. I think education on an annual basis where we make sure the employees know that their utilization of the plan impacts their cost of the plan. And I think we haven't really told them that much, but I think they need to know that. I mean, some companies don't like this, some counties don't like saying that to the employees, but I mean, I think a partnership concept is key, and I think they need to recognize, employees need to recognize that if they're healthier over the long run, it's gonna save money. And I think that's the biggest message. I mean,
Yeah, and that the employee, health insurance employee benefit in Brown County is pretty outstanding.
really,
That needs to be communicated in a way that people understand. And then every year when this cost goes up, that's unaccounted for, it seems like, when we go through budgets, because we get, and I understand everybody's costs go up. Like, I ate at a Japanese hibachi, it cost $32 to have the steak and chicken. I know it's no big deal, but the last time I was there, it was like $22.
no, I worked
And they charge, so everything's going up, everything's going up.
at McDonald's. Family of four, now it's $45.
Okay, so we're caught in this situation where I understand that wages and all this stuff, that we have to be current, we have to be, but this health insurance thing, the way it moves at this 7 to 10 to 20% a year.
Yeah.
It is stretching.
It's not sustainable.
Right.
Right, I agree. And I think where I'm trying to get at is you're in a spot being self-funded where if you go back to a fully insured plan, you're just gonna get on that base where you're getting 12 to 10%, 10 to 12% increases every year. Now, I do think, if you don't mind, I'd like to touch on a couple of other. Okay, so we recognize that Freedom Claims has quite a few clients around the state of Kansas, Better County. And I think a lot of them are clients that were fully insured and smaller groups that went to a better situation than where they were. But if you think about this, you're on a $3,500 deductible that we're buying from Blue Cross right now. Follow me? And if we go to Blue Cross and we say, we're gonna raise the deductible, we want you to give us the lowest price that you'll offer on a fully insured plan for a high deductible plan. Well, they said that plan would be a $7,000 deductible, and they further say that that would save us about 10% in our rates. So what that would do is it would reduce your rates by about 10%. So what I'm gonna illustrate here is what would happen if we went to a high deductible plan, and we had Freedom Claims or any other administrator process the claims below $7,000. That's the value play. That's what they're recommending. I want on a self-funded plan, our opportunity for savings are greater to the extent that we lower our minimum cost. I want our minimum cost to be as low as possible. And I want our variable cost to be as great as possible, because that's where all the savings are. And I've got a report here that shows that we paid $150,000 in deductible coinsurance and copays over the last year. Now, of that, it looks like about 75% of that was below $7,000. So we had about 125,000 claims for deductible and coinsurance and copay. So, I mean, if I put those numbers into this example, it'd be 125,000 on top of the 1,045, which really doesn't make, you know, that would make your cost be about about 1,165. Plus you have to add the fees for the HRA. Plus you're not going to get the rebates anymore. So I mean, honestly, I would not recommend that. The other thing is there, you've got two levels of administration. You got the level of administration from Freedom Claims, which is about $45 per member per month. Plus Blue Cross is going to charge you administration. So it's not a cost-effective way. Now, if I had 10 employees and I didn't have any options, and I wanted to go to a self-funded type of approach, I couldn't do what you're doing now. So I'd probably look at that and I'd probably be interested in that, but not when you have the leverage capabilities that you have. And these numbers here, this 1.6 million, I mean, what we're doing there is we're taking your current plan with your $1,000 deductible and your current gap plan. And we're taking that by the number of members, and we're saying that if everybody met their deductible and they're out of pocket, that would be the liability. So, I mean, that's not realistic, because not everybody's gonna meet their deductible. Not everybody's gonna meet their out of pocket, but if you wanna look at that, and I'll just leave this for you, because I found it interesting. You know, if I'm gonna self-fund, I wanna self-fund where my claims are not gonna be the highest. That's where the greatest leverage capability is. I don't want to self-fund below a $7,000 deductible, because I know that's where all my claims are. I mean, that's where so if we look at this summary, it's got $150,000 of total copay, coinsurance, and deductible. That's what the employees have paid for. That's the bottom right-hand corner, and I know that's kind of hard to read. And I just took, you know, that's all the claims below 7,000. That would be anything below 7,000 would be the liability of the county. And we would go back to that $2,500 on the deductible and $1,000, plus you add the copays in, which the $7,000 deductible doesn't have copay. I mean, the bottom line is just going to be more expensive than what you're doing right now by a lot, without any opportunity. But I want to make sure you understand that, and that's complicated. It's complicated, and And I know I ran through it fast, but, I'm just not sure why we do that. But I know you've got the people from Freedom Claim, you know, part of it is, you know, I mean, when you hired me to do all of this. So, and I would promise you that I'll tell you, if there is a better option out here, like I'm gonna get into the Kansas State plant, that there's some merit to thinking about this. But I wouldn't do that.
So when I look at this sheet you just gave me, that means 5 members in our insurance pool, out of 105, have had no expenses.
That's correct.
Okay, and so we follow that now, like 51 has been under $500.
Correct.
Okay, so then what's then take those numbers out and explain what's that mean on deductible, co-insurance, copay, and total then, just in that first category then. Walk through that. please.
So that's a really good question. What that is, and this is a good report. Because it shows the amount of deductible that those 11 employees have had. So like in the 500 and 999, we had 11 members that fell in that area. And of those members, they had $2,700. Well, those 11 people had 24.66 for deductible. And those people had $582.82 toward co-insurance. And they had $4,516 for the copay. So what happens, copay would be when you go to the doctor, or you go for a prescription, or you go to the emergency room, those are all copays. And if you went to a high deductible plan, all of those expenses, your copays, there's no copays. And everything is subject to deductible, and everything is subject to co-insurance after you meet your deductible. So what I'm illustrating is what this report is illustrating is all of the expenses toward your deductible, copay, or co-insurance would go toward the Brown County plan or toward the employees based off the gap plan that you then set up. Does that make sense? Kind of.
I'm kind of lost.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's
So I don't, I mean, I never use much insurance, so
Yeah.
so take an example and say you paid $750 or whatever. What, how much of that is deductible and how much is, or whatever number you want to take?
Yeah, so all of the amounts toward the deductible are accumulated in the column that says deductible.
So that the deductible is
It's $3,500. So it's $3,500 deductible. So like in the example that we were talking about, we had 11 people had $2,724 toward the deductible. Not all of them met the deductible, but that's the amount that they had toward the deductible.
so that means they have to pay $3,500.
That means each of those have to pay up to
$3,500.
$3,500.
All right.
But in that bucket, I think the thing that's kind of interesting is you look at it, I mean, we only had 4 people that had over $5,500 claims. Which is really interesting to me. I mean, it's just, I mean, that's what happens with the healthcare is, you know, a lot of it is driven by, you know, a lot of the claims are driven by a small number of people.
So then co-insurance, what is that?
Co-insurance, after the employees meet their deductible, then they have co-insurance. The insurance company pays 80%,
And
and then the employees pay 20% up until they meet their out-of-pocket level.
that's
That's
like,
the way the plan is set up.
that's the 5,000.
That's the 5,000.
And then the copay is what?
Copay is the amount that everybody pays when they go to the doctor or they get a prescription. So it's like a $20 copay or a $30 copay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a set amount.
And this is just totaling the amount that the employees paid
Okay.
throughout the year for each of the items.
Sorry, I'm so.
No.
We're learning.
Yeah,
And this, was that 150? Did we see that number somewhere else?
what's that?
Have we seen this number somewhere else in this document? No.
No, I mean, that's just totaling, that's totaling what the member paid for deductible, co-insurance. And
Okay, so if we go,
So that. The insurance company, the doctor, whatever, collected $150,000 more than what the county's paid in.
Say that again.
The. Doctors or the insurance company or whatever has received $150,000 more than what the county has paid. I mean, cause the employees paid
Yeah,
that much.
I mean, that's the employee liability. That's the employee, that's what the employees paying.
Paid. So that,
That's what they're paying. Yeah, and what I was trying to illustrate is if you go to a $7,000 deductible and then the county reimburses the employees. How much of that, when you have a high deductible plan, what Freedom is gonna say is raise the deductible to 7,000, that's the highest plan. And lower the premium as much as you can. Well, we've already done that. We've got a $3,500 deductible that we're buying from Blue Cross. So there's really not much leverage that you can have on your fixed cost. You're gonna take, you're already paying for a $3,500 deductible. And we went self-funded. What they're saying is go to a $7,000 deductible and go fully insured. And that's gonna raise your minimum cost dramatically. It just doesn't make sense.
But now since we given the okay for this other company to go after a book of business, does that interfere with what you do when you're bargaining with Blue Cross Blue Shield?
Well, I mean, they're not gonna go to Blue Cross. I mean, I don't think they would go to Blue Cross.
They said they were, because they were gonna go talk to them.
Yeah,
I mean, so I mean, I don't know that, does that air? I mean, we
Well,
have two people going
yeah,
after the
that
same
doesn't-
book of business.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm already the consultant on the account. I mean, I don't think Blue Cross is gonna talk to them unless you give them an agent a record.
Some of them make the decision.
Yeah, I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
I guess. My thought was, people, taxpayers are wanting to save their money, so, but if that wasn't a cost to us for them to look at it or whatever, at least we could say, we looked into other things and you're always best. I mean, I'm not interested in changing what we're doing. I'm just,
Trying to get more information.
Yeah.
Information, that's what's key.
so, I think we're on the right track.
Sure. I'm still looking at this
So that was
chart.
a bad idea, but that was. for us.
You provided the information for us already, well, they were good.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna, I mean, I don't care, I mean, it doesn't, I mean, I'm gonna give you my opinion, and you paid me on a monthly basis for the expertise that we provide. If you want to question what we've done, and, or if you want, honestly, for me to look at what they're coming back with, I'm saying that I don't know why you would go to a high deductible plan. With them on a fully insured plan, it doesn't make sense. I've illustrated to you why it doesn't make sense.
Sure.
But if you want to talk to somebody else, I'm not gonna think you can't do that. That's really up to what.
Okay, so Watco is an insurance. Are you an advisor, a consultant, a broker? I mean, what's your,
Yeah, we're
all of the,
all.
okay, and so the county's contracted with you at $12,000 a year. Is that all we pay you?
Yeah, there's a fee within the Blue Cross ASO.
So there's a commission or
There's a
something in
commission
there?
built into that.
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
and that's part of the, you sign that, they sign that.
I'm sure that's in there. So does that change then that commission, is that set or is it like a dollar figure? Is that
$25 per head.
per
25
year or per month?
per employee per month.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
$25.
Yeah.
So there's really what our plan, other than trying to reduce our total cost. That's your goal, because it doesn't matter if we spend $1 million or $2 million, you're not gonna make any more commission because it's a set dollar figure per participant.
Right.
And that's employee, is that times the 105?
That's times the number.
So that's times
It's times.
the 50 or 65.
65.
Okay, hey, that's wonderful. All right. All right, yeah, and the freedom claims thing, that's wonderful. So have you done this in the past where you went through and analyzed, I mean, like specifically freedom claims? Or did that happen because we met with them or they came here. I mean, that guy showed up, nobody called him. So it's just how this worked.
Showed up.
Volunteer 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just aware of them in the farm.
Okay.
I'm just aware, so I just, as your advisor, I wanted you to be aware of how they work.
So I asked a local company to come and do the same thing and we didn't do it. So yeah, this gentleman showed up 2 weeks ago now. Kind of on his own. So I mean, this is wonderful because if you're our
Yeah.
advisor, then you're advising. And
Right.
so it's
Right.
good. And I'm not, I'm not sure all this stuff is done, but it's just sort of business. And if I stepped on your toes, I mean,
Sure.
that's not my intention. I just want to chew through this in a way that I can understand and make sure, like what Bill said, we're doing what we need to do to
Yeah.
make sure our costs are.
I don't really view it that way, stepping on my toes at all. I'm just gonna do the best job. I think Jess and I will do the best job that we can for you all, irregardless of the actions that you have. And you talk to somebody, that's your prerogative. Like, I can't tell you not to do that. If there's something that a third party does that potentially interferes with our ability to do the best job for you, I will let you know that.
Sure.
I mean, like, if they go to Blue Cross and they confuse the market in regard to our ability to get something done for you, I will let you know that. I would say that other organizations that we work with, if you were to say, hey, I'm gonna go to 7 different agents and have 7 different agents running around getting quotes, I wouldn't want to participate in that because that does complicate our ability to get stuff done with the vendors, because the vendors, there's only 3 or 4 vendors left in the marketplace anyway. And the vendors that are out there, if they get quotes from 6 different agents, it just, it liquidates our ability to provide value. It liquidates our ability to provide the expertise that we have. I mean, and I will go back to, Blue Cross. I think we are in a good spot where that was my recommendation, to go self-funded. And I think we haven't only got into the Kansas state plan, but I think I would not recommend Freedom Plains. Obviously, I would not recommend Cigna because they're priced higher than what we have right now, and Cigna's not as good a network. So, but I think the Kansas state plan, I mean, I'm happy to talk through that well, because
Are you out of time?
No.
10:17.
10:30, I gotta be back. So and I'm fine.
So I got this and presented it to the clerk's office from an officer at the sheriff's department. He just handed me the paper. And so he must have done some research and thought maybe that was
Okay.
what do you think of it?
Okay, so we got the cost of $1,064,000. That is for the lowest deductible plan. That's for the plan, and there's 2 other plans that are HSA plans that are more cost effective. This is like, going to a government plan, and it is going to a government plan because you're gonna lose all your claims data. You're not gonna get any claims data. You're part of a larger group, and the larger group is good because I think there's stability associated with it. Stability, you're not gonna get a 40% renewal, I promise you that. But the trade-offs are that you have to stay for 3 years. They mandate what the plans are. They mandate how much you pay on single and how much you pay on family. The rates go up January 1 for the employees, and the rates go up for all of the members as of July 1. So it's kind of weird the way it works. The employee rates go up with January 1, and the employer rates go up July 1. Most of the clients that we have, we've taken away from the state plan. Um, uh, the state plan attracts risks that are higher than the plan. There's no underwriting. They take everybody. You know, but for some people, like your group, your risk is higher than average. So, you know, when you look at the opportunity, you know, going in from a premium perspective, you'd look at that and say, well, maybe that's something that we should consider. If I'm in your shoes, I think it's worthy of consideration. And as your advisor, and I think, I think there's pros and cons with both. I think it's, if you want to stay the course and, have opportunities for controlling your destiny, and spending time with it, and having opportunities for paying a lot less than $1 million a year, like we've averaged, I think I'd stay the course with what you're doing right now. If you wanted to say, I'm gonna sell out and my rates are gonna go up every year, well, but you want a third party, you want to be part of a larger group, a lot of counties in the state of Kansas have done it.
They would accept our group, so even though we are high or are high.
There's no underwriting.
You said, I mean, that's what you said.
There's
So
no underwriting. Hey, Justin, do you have any idea what the underwriting, I think it's just a matter of, don't they have to apply within 90 days?
Yes, a 90-day letter of intent.
Why would they not do what?
90 days on January 1.
and then if the state plan accepted our group, I assume would they make their costs go up, or how soon does that take effect?
They're so big that your group is not.
Doesn't impact us.
They got it, on it before. They went with the, but more of they want to get to where we're at eventually.
I have some numbers on the state plan, for 20 for this year, this is at $800 deductible, so it's the gap. With the high, the employee only would be $49.90, per year. The employee spouse would be $237.26, and that's $62.91 higher than the county current county. The employee children would be $126.56, and that's $2.56. And then employee family is still $15.40, which is 56.3 lower than last. And like for that, not a true comparison, just because price for the $800 without the whole word. But that will only meet the gap. And 2024, we paid $122,674 in gap. And year to date this year, we paid $33,850.
That's from March. That number that we estimated.
And that's true calendar year, I don't, only went off the budget numbers, because some of the year to date for this year does have to be 2024 with this. But
I know.
Why?
We're getting gleaning some nuggets out of here.
Yeah, no, I think so, I agree.
And Greg, one question I have you on the state plan, that cost $1,054,000, did that only help? Because I know they offer dental and all the stuff that you do, and then you go back.
Hey, yes, you know, if the cost that we have, is that just the health, or is that included that?
Just the health.
Yeah.
Rich has stepped.
Yeah, so, but
think we're okay. with
Yeah, I think he's gotta leave anyway.
Yeah.
so.
Everything okay?
It's just, I just need to be more with the. Number.
Okay, well,
The only other thing that I would, if you flip over a couple, well, if you flip over one more page, it kind of gives you a summary of the concepts that we talked about. Just pretty high level, like bullet points, most of which I've already talked about. And then the other thing that I would say is if you flip over to the last page, it's got a total of the rebates, that we've had over the last 12 months. And that's the $80,000. So, on the Kansas State plan, I think I would just reiterate that, I mean, there's no rebates that are coming back either, so, you know, you almost have to add $80,000 to those numbers to get at the family.
okay, wonderful. Which you will, we will conclude our meeting and we'll just skip the work session. Since you're not gonna be here.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys for your time.
Well, right back at you. This was wonderful, it really was.
Thank you for your time.
Is there a, if I have some more questions, maybe I'll just email you?
Anytime or email.
Okay. Okay. I scratched on a lot of this and I understand.
Call me anytime.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Okay.
I think I got your card.
Okay.
No, this is great. This was great.
Well, we sure appreciate your time and, we'll stay in touch as things develop relative to the claim. We'll get claims through July, the first week of August, and the renewal will be done based off the claims through July. So based off what we're seeing here, I'd like to think that we're not gonna be double digits on the renewal. I think it should be probably in the 8 to 9% range based off my estimates.
Okay.
And keep in mind, when you're self-funded, that's a liability. You only pay that as if the claim's gone all the way to the top. So, you know, again, that's one of the advantages.
Would you put together something with recommendations? I mean, I think I know what you're here.
Yeah.
But even employee contributions, wellness programs, this direct primary care, just put something together for us to look at.
Yeah.
Some suggestion, again.
For sure.
Right on. Okay.
But
Thank you. No,
Yep.
great. Really. Thanks for spending an hour and a half with us. Come on.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jessica. Thanks for sitting in.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Is there anything he's coming? Anything else?
Nothing, can't wait. No.
Okay, since we won't have the work session yet, that's good with everybody.
I need to talk about him, but okay. No big
I'm
deal.
gonna sit in here and just do some homework, but big deal. So I
I've
would,
already signed that, so.
we're in good shape then. Yeah, we can adjourn with that. So if you want to take off, we'll just, I'll ask her and see you in a couple of weeks. Okay, but nothing else in front of us.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing on your ad in the Horton paper, really appreciate that it's big enough so you can read it. But, looks like 15 inches long, and there was about 3 inches in there with just blank lines. I don't know if it- I don't know if there's any way you can cut that out. I mean, yeah,
That might just be.
Yeah, there's,
I don't know.
Woodward's.
a space.
Okay, so I didn't know if, but I do appreciate it because in the past I printed it so small you couldn't hardly read it, so.
Okay, well then is there anything else?
And I saw you had the numbers on the fuel cloud. I think we need to. I was gonna make a motion on that, but I guess I'll wait till everybody's here to do that.
Okay, sounds good. Well, then is there a motion to adjourn?
And then about,
Oh. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
we talked about joining that other, paying to join that other thing.
How do you want to handle that, Bill?
Is there any restriction on what we can do or not?
He's talking about the Kansas Natural Resources Coalition. Where, yes, Bill and I are gonna pay membership for the county. Is there any to the county? Okay. What do you want to do? It's $5,000.
They have that.
You want to do half? Half and half? Okay.
All right.
I brought my chicken. That was on the list. I guess here's how I want to do this. I think it's worthy. And I think we'll make the investment because we think it's worthy. If it's good for the county next year, then we better take a look at having the county do it. But to dip our toe in the water, this is a good way to try. So
And so I don't know if the membership it starts on the January 1st or if it goes from.
I talked to her, we talked to Allison, and she said it just starts whenever.
For a year,
Yeah.
whatever you start.
So if we start August 1st, whatever, then it just goes to August.
Okay.
All right. Do we need to make any sort of motion to do that? Or?
Whatever it is. Fine.
I don't know. Any thoughts about that? You.
I'm not sure I have a legal. And I told Rich we wouldn't do anything, so
So maybe we wait till next, no,
I'm not here, I'm here the 11th. So,
okay. That's fine.
I wouldn't mind just doing it, but I'm not sure how to put it in. Is what I'm after, this is the deal.
Right.
And we're looking at you, I mean, it's just habit, I'm sorry. We had talked about it before, and he's aware, but I don't wanna
Right,
do anything.
I agree.
So do you wanna wait till the 11th?
Yep. I
Okay,
think so.
can we put it on the agenda for the 11th? Yeah, and bring this thing back. I was ready to go.
I'll try to remember to come back to you. Sorry.
Well, she'll put it on the agenda, we'll be in good shape.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I think that's it.
I think that's all.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
Okay, I second. Move second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No, motion carried. Thank you very much.